From the birthplace of the Bohemian Revolution, from Cowork 591 Studios, this is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Dale Reber's on assignment this week. I'm with producer Blake Tempus, and I'm Jim Gillespie, and this is the Jesup News for June 19th, 2023. On today's podcast, we look at the inner works of the Steve Brown Arts Center. We talk about winners and losers. We do the 8th segment of Mandino's book on how to be successful. We look at the events surrounding the Steve Brown Arts Center recently. We give you the top stories in Jesup, and we discuss service and art. And we talk about our fathers this week of Father's Day. The Steve Brown Arts Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has a vision for artists, young and old alike, to have the opportunity to better themselves while helping to build the skills of those around them. The long-range vision is to house a rural artist residency program for professional and emerging artists in all areas of the arts and the humanities. Artists will be offered accommodations and studio space in exchange for a contribution of labor and maintenance of the buildings and grounds. So let's get to it. Blake, here we go. First off, we've got some possible stories in the coming weeks. We've got a connection to the pipeline or the carbon pipeline that is being threatened to put through the area, a family that is battling them, and I'm trying to get them on the air. I'm working with them. The family, many of you would know, former Jesup teacher, retired Jesup teacher, science teacher, Dennis Hart. His family is battling the company. They want to put the pipeline through their land over by Ablington, and we're trying to get them on the air. We have a young lady who's fought seizures since her middle school years, and it's been about 30 years now, and I'm trying to convince her to come on the air and talk about her battle. She's probably as neat a young lady as any of you have ever met. Such a positive woman, and we would love to talk with her. I tried to get new Jesup football coach Jacob McMartin on tonight, but because of a family conflict, swimming lessons actually took place over our podcast, Blake. So we're going to either get Jacob on next week or the following week. Jacob has been already investing tons of time and effort to build his new team, and I'm excited to watch them this coming fall. And we also have been working to get Harold Clayton from north of Littleton. Harold Clayton, when he graduated from high school, him and his cousin went out and went to guide school out in Montana. And he is one of the greatest outdoorsmen that I've ever met. And he has stories upon stories, and that many of you, and I know we have several deer hunters that listen to us, many of you would love to hear Harold's stories of his time out in Montana. Recently at the farmer's market, I like to call it the Bohemian Market over in Independence, we had a seer. Her name is Lena Pilkington from Cedar Rapids. And Lena did tarot cards. She did a seer's board. And she did about 8 readings. And she was incredible. I urge you to go online and look up. She works at Illuminations in Cedar Rapids. And look at her biography and possibly contact her. I want to talk a little bit right now about what failure is. Failure is not trying. Failure is going at things halfway, and we don't want to do things halfway here at the Steve Brown Arts Center. We want to accomplish things. We want to get back and have the same success that we had here in Jesup during the great art renaissance of the late 1990s here in Jesup. The next thing is going to sound like a failure, but it's not. We're going to have to step back from the theater camp this week, and at first I felt really bad about that. I felt like it was a failure, but as we looked at what was going on that week, the middle school kids are out east on a school trip. It is Dead Week throughout our state, so many families are going on vacation. And so next year, Dale and I will go up to school, talk to the music teacher, talk to Mrs. Truax, and talk to Annika Wall. I forget her married name now, but she's the drama coach and the speech coach now, and recruit harder for that. We need to get those folks here in town. Right now, they're doing a play out in Michigan with 90 children. They're doing Mary Poppins. We need to get those people here in town and help to get drama to explode again here in Jesup. Last but not least, as far as inside of the Steve Brown Arts Center, a group of young men from the class of 95 invited me over to Clarksville to Dennis Hart's 80th birthday. Happy birthday, Dennis. I know you listen on and off. Jason invited me over, and Jason Hart and Freddie Richards, they invited me to come over for your birthday. I had a great time. I had a chance to talk to Chris Reber, Freddie Richards, Jeff Hart. Dennis had a great opportunity to talk to Dennis Hart, and they're all great listeners. So I want to do a shout out to those guys. And the neat thing about it is, and teachers, please listen carefully as I tell you this. Those young men are successes. Their success is what they chose to do in their professions of life. They're good men. They're good family men. They have children. Dennis has got some great grandchildren. Please reach out to those young men. Please reach out to Dennis Hart, Mr. Hart, as many of you would call him, and find him on Facebook and wish him a happy 80th birthday. And by the way, he's still riding a horse at 80 years old. Got all those German short hairs around there too. Tragically, he lost his wife Gwen here recently, and our sympathies go out to his family. On a brighter note, after 40 days in the Amazon jungle, 4 young children were found alive from a plane crash. Amazingly, 3 miles from the plane. There was a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an 11-month-year-old. And the mother survived briefly after they crashed, but then they had to survive on their own for 40 days. And during that time, the rescuers walked within 50 yards of them, and they didn't see him. But with a combination of military and native means, they found them this week, and that's an incredible story. If you get a chance, read about that, please. It goes back when we talked about that young lady, that 17-year-old girl that fell from the sky and fell into the Amazon and was a lone survivor of that plane crash we spoke of last fall. This week's winners and losers. First, the winner, Allie Borgerding. I've got to talk about Allie. Allie's a Jesup grad. This is her, I believe it's her 3rd year out now. next year will be her third year out. She works at the Jesup Public Library, and these past 3 Thursdays, she's done art in the park for a combination of the Steve Brown Arts Center and the Jesup Public Library. And she's been amazing. She's had 20 to 25 kids each week. And Allie's personality is just meant for that. She's going to be very successful in her life. So she, in my mind, is the Jesup winner of the week. And the loser is the Texas Gulf Coast. It got hot fast down in Texas this year, and thousands of fish washed up dead from lack of oxygen on the Gulf Coast down there. It's a weird time as fish are washing up in Texas, and down in Florida, seaweed formation the size of Rhode Island is washing up on the beaches of Miami. So the Texas Gulf Coast is a loser right now. With Dale gone tonight, the Farmer's Day asked me to talk a little bit about Farmer's Day 2023, so I'm going to do that quickly. Don't forget the free domestic arts show. Check in for that. It's 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday, July 5th. Don't forget the Jesup Chamber of Commerce is serving pork loins and chips in the East Park on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. until they run out, and that is free. This fat man's going to eat for free on Thursday. Don't forget they're having a hatchet throwing site. They're having the beer garden, which is many people's favorite. They're having the fabulous face painting, Knights of Columbus bingo. They're having square dancing in the streets. They're having the children's parade at 6:15 on Thursday night. Mayor Even is going to give his welcome at the Park Pavilion at 7 p.m. I tell you, I've had a chance to work with Mayor Even the last couple weeks, and we're so lucky to have Chris as our mayor. He is just so even keel and has such a vision. I'm proud to have him as the mayor of Jesup. Don't forget on Thursday night, the Prince and Princesses contest is in the Park Pavilion. The Boy Scouts eating contest then will follow, and then a band that was on our podcast earlier in the year, Belvins and Powers, will be in the Park Pavilion at 9 o'clock on Thursday night. Also, a bunch of bouncy houses, and NASA will be in town as well. Dale will talk more as he rejoins us next week. Fancy Hat check-in will be 12:45, and the Fancy Hat show will be at 1 o'clock. I'm not sure what that is. Dale will have to explain that next week. There's Gymnasts on 6th Street, Absolute Science Show for kids, Eric Michael Magic Show. That excites me at 3 o'clock. I'm a magic lover. The Buck Hollow Band is from 4 to 6 in the Park Pavilion. Don't forget bingo, carnival rides in the beer garden. Legend of County Jeff Gordon is in the Park Pavilion. The Garth Brooks tribute will be from 7:30 to 9. And Danny Roberts' Detour Band will be on at 9 o'clock. On Saturday, the 5K will be run. Packet sign-up is 6:30. The parade lineup is 7:30. The 73rd Great Farmers Day Parade is 10 o'clock, and I found out who is being honored this year, but I've been asked to be quiet about it, so I will. Fabulous Face Painting is back. The Carnival Rides Domestic Art Show. Bosco and Independent City Band will be in the Park Pavilion. The Iowa State Fair Talent Show is at 1:30. The Garth Brooks Tribute is at 4. The Johnny Ray Gomez is at 5 to 6:30. And the announcement of parade winners is at 6:30. Bill Crastle and a variety of music in one show is at the Park Pavilion, 6:30 to 8:30. Mark Brown will talk about satellites from 7 to 8. And Nevertheless is in the Park Pavilion at 9 o'clock. There's a community gospel hour and ice cream social with Bill Crystal at the Park Pavilion on Sunday at 2 o'clock. That's a special event. Please stop by for that. Ooh, you got to like that. Ice cream social, Blake. Farmer's Day is coming. That's July 6th, 7th, and 8th. 6th, 7th, and 8th. Library news. The Little Todd Story Time is every Thursday at 10:30 for songs and stories. The Spice Club this June is Tajin. Summer Story Time in the Park. June 22nd is Westland of Corn Park. That's the Blue Playground. And the Parker Muncie Pioneer Park. That's 10th Church and Ainsworth Street on the 29th. So the 22nd and the 29th in the parks. Don't forget the summer reading program. June 21st is gardening. June 28th is kindness. Does getting online library books feel daunting or overwhelming? Come to Learn Libby with Allie. 2 sessions will be offered. That's Allie Borgerding, our person of the week here, or our winner of the week. Monday, June 19th at 6 p.m. That's tonight. And Tuesday, June 20th at 2 p.m. We will focus on the Libby app, which is used for checking out audiobooks and ebooks. Bring out your own device and your question. The movie Monday is June 26th. That is 80 for Brady. That's Academy Award nominee Lily Tomlin and winners Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, and Sally Field star in a hilarious and heartfelt comedy inspired by a true story of friendship and adventure. They want to see Tom Brady play football. That's PG-13 and runs 98 minutes. That's Monday, June 26th at 1 p.m. Duke Otherwise, clever lyrics and superb music on Wednesday, June 28th at 1 p.m. at the Jesup Elementary School with his guitar, tap shoes, and distinct baritone. Duke sings hilarious and imaginative songs that are outrageous fun for all ages. This Jesup program is free and open to the public. Don't forget you can get coffee and a Polar Camel water bottle from the library. They have new things and neat things to check out. Don't forget the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And don't forget the 1,000 books before kindergarten. Next, we want to talk about maybe one of my favorite steps to success out of Og Mandino is the greatest salesman in the world. The 10 steps to success is the 8th one is I will multiply my value 100-fold. I try to remember this every day, and this is wonderful. It goes back to losing. You can't. You don't lose if you invest, if you try. And there's a great story about do you want to be a piece of grain and be eaten by the bird, or do you want to plant that piece of grain and be able to make a loaf of bread? Or do you want to plant that piece of grain and then grow a grain stalk and then take the seeds on it, grow a grain field, and feed the world? And if you continue to multiply your value, you're going to have success, and you're going to help people besides. This is a great quote from Og Mandino's greatest salesman in the world. I will do the work that a failure will not do. I will always let my reach exceed my grasp. I will never be content with my performance in the market. I will always raise my goals as soon as they are attained. I will strive to make the next hour better than this one. I will always announce my goals to the world. That's why we've told you, ladies and gentlemen, we want to have a house where artists can live and work on their skills. And that is a goal of the Steve Brown Arts Center. We never set out to set up a podcast. Now, I'm glad we did, and I've enjoyed this time with Blake and with Dale. I've caught up with many people that I hadn't seen in multiple years, and I'm glad we're doing it. Many people are a little disappointed we haven't taken the place of the Citizen Herald, and that's not why the Steve Brown Arts Center opened to be a media outlet and a news outlet. We are not that way. Many people have commented, and many people have asked to be taken off our listener list because we're not giving them news, and Jesup news in particular. And I'll be the first to admit I've made that decision. Our objective, our goal is not to be a news outlet. Our goal is to be an arts center and to be the mecca of art that Jesup was in the late 1990s. So if anyone has questions, please contact me, and I'll gladly talk to them about that. So, Mandino is the greatest salesman in the world, and I will multiply my value 100-fold. Thankfully, there's no obituaries in Jesup this week. Got to thank White Funeral Home, who supplies us with the obituaries every week. At Co-work this week, come and get it. Food truck is here from 11 to 2. Foods Here Mobile is here on the 20th from 10:30 to 1:30. And Simply Amy Mobile event is here from 2 until 6. So stop down to Co-work 591 and use their facilities. Talk to Kelly about getting set up with a membership. It is a wonderful place. As Farmers Day is buzzing by, just a reminder that we are getting ready for Littleton Watermelon Day, a free watermelon day. That's singular. July 29th. We've got a similar band that Farmers Day has, Belvins and Powers from 1 to 3, Chet Reagan Music and Mandy McClary from 3 until 5, and the Bad Habits Band from 6 until 8. We've got artist Bruce Gordon, a colored pencil artist from Grundy Center, Iowa. We have Helen Hunter, a watercolor artist, and they will be displaying their art in the Littleton Chatham Historical Society. Barb Prawl will be painting a piece of art in the Littleton Lounge, LLC. Bob is excited about that. He's kind enough to let her set up in the corner, and those of you that didn't see Barb when she was in town earlier are in for a treat. So that is sponsored by, then the free watermelon is from 4 until 5 at the Littleton Chatham Historical Society. Outside of it, we have food vendors, the Jesup Lions Club, Boyd's Food Truck, and Totally Rolled Ice Cream of Northeast Iowa. Sponsors include the Littleton Lounge, LLC, Reyes Concrete, Littleton Chatham Historical Society, Jacobson Fabrication and Repair, LLC. I need to get Donnie in and talk to him during the podcast as well. Dream Chaser Acres, Jesup Lions Club, the Independence High School FFA. They are supplying free watermelon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited about that. Thomas James LLC, Totally Rolled Ice Cream in Northeast Iowa. The Even Events and Rental of LLC. Chris was out with me this past week and helped me visionize how we're going to get set up for the week. Littleton does not have quite the area that Jesup has for the celebration. And last but not least, a great friend of the Steve Brown Arts Center, Derek's Rivera Shop, LLC. Remember that Littleton Free Watermelon Day is presented by the Steve Brown Arts Center. As Father's Day is quickly approaching us next week, or excuse me, is this past Sunday as we come out on Monday. It was yesterday. I would be lack not to talk about my father, Bob. Bob was an incredible man, born and raised in West Virginia. I always tell people my mother was the daughter of a horse thief, and my father was the son of a horse trader. And that's true to life, ladies and gentlemen. But my father, a unique story about him, he was bit in the bicep by a horse. And the veterinarian was 9 miles away. The doctor was 19 miles away. And so the veterinarian sewed him up, stitched him up. He had quite a scar in his bicep. But it's from my father and my mother as well. My mother believed in service as well. But my father was serving as a young man. He cleaned out the roundhouse in Cottageville, West Virginia, for the train, and it was during the Depression. And as the workers would go home from the roundhouse at night, he would work at night, and he would allow the hobos of the time period to sleep in the roundhouses, or the roundhouse during the night, and then would wake them before the workers would come back during the day. He was also a strong union man, a Teamsters man. Our family was real active in early labor back in the early 1900s in the coal mines of West Virginia. He was proud to help a friend, and it was not uncommon for him to go to his friends to help them if they were sick or down. My father and my mother, for that matter, were both 8th grade graduates, but my father saved enough money for me to go to my first 3 years of college as a truck driver. He drove 30 years and drove 1 million miles, but he put money away every week for me so that his one and only child could go to college, and that still amazes me to this day. That he was that type of visionary. He died on my birthday, January 20th, 1979, my senior year in high school. So I remember him this Father's Day weekend. If you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center or have an idea for an event, go to stevebrownartscenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, Email us at jim@stevebrownartscenter.org or call 319-290-0241 and leave a message. We are having a lot of success with the Arts Center this summer. 30 days of events, and I'm proud to say that. We are having a lot of victories, and as I end each podcast with remember each day is about little victories, that's what I think about as I rise and work with the board members, work with Blake, work with Kara Masteller and Alex Relo, work with Brody Vogel, work with Joe Olson over in Independence and Dale Reber, work with the Jesup Public Library, and work with the City Hall. We're having a lot of success, and little victories mean big victories. So I'm Jim Gillespie. Thanks to our producer Blake Tempus and Kelly Seahas at Cowork 591. Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your day. And remember, each day is about little victories.